discussing the potential of combining social solidarity, economy, and EVET to promote alternative socio-economic models that are needed in an era of transition. APDES and its partners believe that SSE, social solidarity economy, is a means for systemic and transformative change, and therefore for the next generations need to be actively involved as promoters of that change. Following this premise, since 2016, the SSEVET 2 partnership has been working to promote the cooperation between SSE and IVET. The partners of this project are Solidaris, Movement pour l'économie solidaire, CRIES, TechNect, DOC, and RIPES Europe. In this event, the good practices that have been piloted will be shared and followed by a discussion on how future collaborative steps can address the current needs of the young people, namely within the framework of a meaningful recovery. So I think that this is.
You are mute, Teresa, sorry.
Sorry. Okay. I activate now. So now I will pass the word to Sophia so she can revisit the agenda and the working groups. And I would like to give you again all the welcome and a good work in this event.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for this introduction. And welcome to everyone to this side event of the ECOSOC Youth Forum. And thank you for your interest. So today we will start with a brief introduction from two young people representing the recently created Youth and SSE RIPES Europe Working Group. Then, as Teresa said, we will present you two European projects that aim to promote SSE, presenting it to the next generations in order to make this theoretical part more comprehensible. An Italian young person involved in the project will present you her perspective. After that, we will have the simultaneous working groups. And here we call for your special attention because we will ask you to choose the working group in which you want to participate. And for that, when this moment comes, you will see the options, but I will give you that information beforehand so you can think about it if you want. So the first working group is about education, a first step towards social and economic transformation, moderated by Josette Camps from MESH. And the second work group is about the future of work and social solidarity economy, moderated by Georgia Berkidaki from DOC. After the working groups and the sharing of the results, we will close the event with a dialogue between Jason Nardi from RIPES Europe and Laure Hugenjans from RIPES Intercontinental. And now, I'm very happy to pass the word to Andrea Rodrigues from RIPES Europe and Francesco Capellini from the Portuguese Network for Local Development, representing the Youth and SSE RIPES Europe Working Group. The floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, and thank you very much for inviting us to participate in this activity. It is a pleasure to be here. And well, we would like to take advantage of this space in the framework of the Youth Forum of ECOSOC to address and reflect on the challenges that are materializing in our societies full of uncertainties, changes, threats, and a whole post-truth theory that has transformed the ways of relating to each other and understanding the world. But also, and above all, we would like to use this space to indicate the importance of bringing the social and solidarity economy closer to young people and its potential to provide answers that are in line with values of justice and equality. Nowadays, if we take a quick look around us, we can say that young people, in a broad sense of the term, are a generation raised in the economic crisis and aware that we are not going to get out of it. It is necessary just to take a look at the youth unemployment figures that are present at the European continent to understand this reality. So obviously, this has concrete consequences in the way we live our lives and in the way we understand our societies. So we can say we are the children of the neoliberal reform, and we are experiencing its destructive aging, and moreover the system's difficulties in maintaining the levels of profit and accumulation to which it was accustomed are becoming increasingly clear. So we have this privatization and commodification that are spreading to more and more sectors of our life, and until even natural goods have been commodified. And that horizon of progress seems to be totally relegated to a century we have never known as young people. So we have had to live a late capitalism, a liquid modernity, and that is not able to promise us a minimum stability while we observe certain setbacks in the conquest of past struggles. So precariousness and instability are present in this generalized crisis in which fear and insecurity are logical responses. We think it is not a coincidence that anxiety disorders and depression are rising and with a trend to be present at younger ages. And it is a generational issue that is more and more present and that finds its causes in the pressure and continuous life insecurity, something that has been once with the pandemic. So we think it is normal to be afraid nowadays. We have fear of precariousness, fear of being assaulted because your gender or your sexual orientation, fear of being expelled from the country for not having paper, fear of not being able to access housing, or fear of the climate change, etc., etc. So we think as group that it is precisely by recognizing our weakness, our interdependence with the other people, and our eco-dependence with nature that we will be able to move forward. And that's why we believe that through the social and solidarity economy and education, we can find a way out of all this structural violence of the system. And finally, I would like to add that it is true that the most of the conflicts we face are international in nature, and that's why our organization, Reflection and Response, cannot be less. So we need to build strong grassroots communities and broad networks connected to each other, and that's why these spaces that allow us to build alliance and listen to each other are so important for us. And now I would like to pass the floor to Francesco, who I hope will make a more positive speech than mine. And well, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy this activity.
Thank you, Andrea, for the contextualization and for giving the overview of the situation in which we are forced to act. But so, given that, what's the role of youth in all of this? Do we have an alternative to being hopeless? And I will raise 2 points. I would like to make 2 reflections moving on that. One is about attitude and one is about structure. The first one, like, given a context of crisis, of uncertainty and precariousness, is there a way that we can build some, like, is there a way that can make us less remissive? Do we have an alternative to being subjected to a system we do not identify with? And we propose that the answer, of course, is yes. And the first point, it should be starting with our attitude towards this system. Because since capitalism and neoliberal logics are in our world, we just think about everything is assimilated by them. Everything is destroyed. But we can change our attitude thinking about what was before. Before there was another attitude moving people, which was not calculation, but it was beauty. And beauty is something that can make things less insignificant, less trivial. And beauty is something that can, like by definition, is something that see beyond. And this should be the attitude we can start from with our imagination, not setting limit to them, to the imagination we have, and to figure out which are the alternatives, which are other possibilities. And the first concrete thing we can do about that is starting from a structure. And the structure we as a youth, we are trying to do is this group, Youth and SSE, trying to connect an economy that can provide values in line with our principles to the young people who are not allowed to make choices that are in line with our principles and our values. So these groups have a great ambition to provide the space for those alternative ways. We are going to explore a lot of alternative ways to interpret the economy, starting from finance to be lived in an ethical way, and bringing it to production, how to make it sustainable and more closer to communities, starting from economic empowerment, how to make communities more empowered with their choices and with their investments. We will deal about travel, trying to reinvent how we can travel in a responsible way and make an impact. Basically, we will try to explore all the alternatives provided by SSE, including also training, how to train young people and how to train young professionals to be more attractive, and to provide give legitimacy and credibility to solutions provided by SSE, so that when we imagining our future, we do not see the crisis as a burden. Because actually there was a nice quote that I don't remember exactly who said that, but I'm quite sure that someone said it before me, that we should be worried about capitalism when it succeeds rather than with as a crisis. And so we could take this crisis as an opportunity and not as a burden on the shoulders of young people, but as an exciting challenge that we have to face all together. So I am more than happy to be here with all of you for further discussions, and we'll pass back the floor to Sofia. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Andrea and Francesco, for this inspirational moment. And that is the idea of this project and this event, is not to say, oh, we are so bad, this is so bad, this is a tremendous situation, but what we can do and what we can present as young people. And for that, we'll go to the past to see what this partnership that Teresa presents in the beginning is doing, and then discuss what we can do next. And now, moving forward to the pilot practices that we want to present to you, we'll welcome Chiara Bonifazzi from Solidarius. Chiara Bonifazzi is an anthropologist and is currently studying primary education science. She's a founding member of Solidarius Italia, a small social enterprise that was set up in 2009 to promote social solidarity economy networks at a national but also international level, because Solidarius is part of the Solidarius network, which is especially widespread in Latin America and West Europe. Chiara is working with Solidarius mainly on social planning, training, and research.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sofia. I prepared a few slides to support my speech, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Could you see correctly my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, as Sofia said, I'm working with Solidarius, and we were partners in both the first and second Erasmus SSEVET project led by IVET. And today I try in a few minutes to tell you about the experience of the first project carried out between 2016 and 2018, called Social Solidarity Economy in Europe, affirming a new paradigm through IVET curricular innovation. it was the first opportunity for us to experiment the potential of this meeting between social solidarity economy and IVET. This project was a project funded by Erasmus Plus program and carried out by 7 organizations from 7 European countries that were working on the topic of social solidarity economy and were training agency, and came from Portugal, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Germany, Italy, Greece, Romania, and also RIPAS Europe was in the partnership. RIPAS Europe is the social solidarity economy network in Europe. This project starting from 2 main aspects and assumptions. The first one was that social solidarity economy was an alternative to the current socio-economic model because it proposes an economy built for a world of social justice, ecological vigilance, and workplace democracy. So an economy where collaboration, sustainability, and solidarity and respect for people are more important than monetary profit. And the second aspect, it was that VET, vocational educational training, is a tool to achieve social change, especially IVET, so the vocational training for young people. Yes, the main objective of our project was to try to include social solidarity economy issues in the IVET curricula in order to make young people who will soon enter the world of work more sensitive to the topic of solidarity, collaboration, sustainability, and to make them active agents of change, so experimenting new forms to make economy. The project was divided in three steps, in 3 axes: a strategic assessment, the curricular innovation, and the advocacy phase. Of course, each step with specific activities and objectives to be achieved. And in each country, we work on different target groups, not only with IVET trainees, but also IVET providers and trainers, social solidarity economy organization at different levels, so local, national, and European level, and also decision makers at different level. Here, in this slide, you can find a summary of the project in numbers, because we realize different activities. Especially, we realize different multiplier events to disseminate our results and output of our project. The first steps, the strategic assessment. We start our project with the mapping work to understand the opportunities and constraints for to achieve our goals. So to affirming social solidarity economy in IVET curricula. But before that, we worked a lot on lexical sharing, because in each country, in our partnership, social solidarity economy is articulated differently, depending on the historical and social content, of course. And also the VET system works differently. So we work a lot on this issue. The mapping that we realized was used to investigate these different contexts, and we investigated on political trends regarding SSE in IVET, the structure of IVET system, the situation of social solidarity economy in IVET curricula, And finally, we defined some proposal to achieve our goal. The general diagnosis highlights that social solidarity economy was hardly present in training curricula, with no explicit mention of social solidarity economy in most, if not all, countries. Maybe due to the fact that social solidarity economy is a recent development and only partially recognized. However, as the report shows, social solidarity economy could offer many opportunities through the innovation of IVET curricula. For example, can contribute to the achievement of soft and transversal skills, can offer tools and innovative pedagogical methodologies about participatory learning, can contribute to the lifelong training for trainers. But first of all, we think that social solidarity economy can support the role of the vocational training center as an economic actor of the territory, contributing to creating sustainable local development. So at the end of this first step of our project, we saw a lot of potentiality of this meeting between social solidarity economy and IVET. Regarding the second step, it concerning the innovation of curricula, so the main part of the project, we worked on the creation of 3 training modules for initial vocational training regarding social solidarity economy issues. We realized 3 different modules of 30 hours of training. The first one more general, and the others more specific about democratic management and ethical finance. The 3 modules created and tested during 3 pilot training that we realized it in 5 training days each, are intended to be exportable in different contexts. So they are described in concrete terms with examples of activities and useful resources for trainers. And beyond the specific context, all 3 modules share the pedagogical approach based on 3 main aspects. The ensuring a tailored approach. So in order to set up a training focused on the trainees, which means that the program flow should be planned, keep in mind the participants' real experience, fostering active learning methodologies, and presenting a debated practical example. So working on case studies, making field visits, and listening to voices from the social solidarity economy. So combining and creating a balance between theory and practice is very important. So quickly, the first module was focused on values and principles of social solidarity economy, and the pilot training was realized in Czech Republic. And the main of this model was to understand the topic of social solidarity economy as a transversal movement. And at the end of this module, trainees could understand the dynamic of social solidarity economy and also distinguish them from other economical dynamics. The second module was focused on democratic management, and the pilot training was realized in Greece. And at the end of this module, the trainees were able to understand how democratic management can be organized and be tailored as to a collective goal. And also, what are the benefits of this type of management? So here are some topics that we include in our training. And the third module was focused on the ethical finance, and the pilot training was realized in Bulgaria. And the trainees were introduce it to different perspectives about social solidarity economy, and learn about opportunities and transformative potential of ethical and solidarity finance as a pathway to social change. Yes. Regarding the third step, the last one, this step was dedicated to the advocacy. So in this phase, each partner drew up an action plan with specific activities to be carried out in the short, medium, and long term in order to achieve the objective of including the social solidarity economy in the IVET curricula, and thinking about the different target groups, of course, to be involved, and also the different levels, so regional, national, and European level. And at European level, we also realized a policy brief investing in the future to social solidarity economy, highlighting the innovative role that social solidarity economy can play in the context of the 2030 agenda. At the end of this project, it was clear for us that we were only at the beginning of this of a challenge, and it seemed clear to us the importance of working on the training of trainers, identified as the main recipients of future actions, trainers of vocational trainings, but also social solidarity economy operators, because they, in welcoming new workers in their activities, economic activities, must necessarily pose themselves as trainers, expressing first new training needs, but also new specific skills useful to work in the field of social solidarity economy. So yes, I finished with my presentation, but I just want to add that this reflection led us to the second project we have decided to present, and which Sofia Pereira will now tell you about. And so I have the pleasure to present you Sofia. Sofia Pereira is a criminologist and master in social economy, and she is working at APDES, a Portuguese NGO for development created in 2004 and aimed to promote the integrated development of people and communities living in a vulnerable situation. And APDES, that is also the leading partner of this project, of course. And Sofia represents also the Portuguese network of solidarity economy in the coordination committee of RIPAS Europe, that is the social solidarity economy network of in Europe. And I'll pass the floor to her. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Chiara. First, I want to say that I saw that there are 2 questions for Chiara in the chat, but maybe Chiara can see the questions while I present the other project, because actually it is a process, so it makes sense to make all together, and then we come back with these questions and others that may come up in the meantime. And now it's my turn to share the screen, and I want to say that we will share the presentations and other materials. I already put in the chat some links, but we'll share even more things, so don't worry. So, okay. As Chiara presented, in the first example, the partnership focused on the content. And now I would like to present a project more focused on the methodologies, that is, how to do it. Again, this is a project with European scope and European added value. The main goal is to promote SSE in Europe through the training of trainers. As Chiara pointed out, in the first project, we created models for IVET, and the partners concluded that it is very important to have trainers who are familiar with the SSE values and principles. So we need this stakeholder to spread the word on SSE. In this sense, the project aims to contribute to innovation in vocational training programs aiming at the civic and professional development of people by integrating alternative socioeconomic models into their ideas and attitudes. We are using the action research methodology, and we also can provide some materials on this. Action research is a methodology that consists of a systematic collection of information. I will ask you to everyone to mute your microphone because I'm sharing, so I'm not sure if I can do this. Okay, thank you so much. Now we can proceed. So action research consists of the systematic collection of information with the goal of promoting change. For this reason, the research process foresees more than the individual collection of information or data. The researchers that choose this methodology are based on everyday issues and propose to design joint solutions. Thus, the action associates the objective of creating knowledge and raising awareness on the importance of strengthening relationships and bonds. The information collected is subject to continuous participatory process. Action research is participatory as a way of promoting positive social change, the predominant driving force of the methodology. Participatory action research emerged from a social and educational perspective and is one of the rare research methodologies that encompasses principles of participation, reflection, empowerment, and emancipation. The use of this methodology allowed for a training action course aimed to promote a process of learning through experience, practice, and involving the target group in SSE local initiatives to have a better frame within the SSE local context, with a strong will to create a training community. We started with the context analysis, which was fed by the first project conclusions and inputs from the mapping of VET trainers' competencies and existing SSE training programs prepared in the project, in the first step of the project, as happened in the previous one. The main identified problem was that training practices are not always consistent with SSE principles, so we need to align them. For that, we co-created an innovative and aligned with SSE principles training action course designed in a participatory way. It was created as a general framework, and then each national partner adapted that general framework to the needs and interests of the specific local experimentation area and tested it. The 8-day training allowed putting into practice a training in action program co-designed with the participants over the last year. The training focused in innovative and participatory methodologies, creation of pedagogical materials, and implementation of action research process proposed by each trainee or by the group. The training program included several visits to local SSE initiatives, guests, innovative methodologies, and several formats for structuring the sessions, moving us towards the creation of a training community. We held 80 training days, reaching 61 participants in 10 European cities. All training was evaluated, namely through trainees exchange, that is, mutualizing experience, methodologies, and suggestions for a validated training in action proposal. About the training, I want to highlight 3 remarks. First, each city, that is, each local experimentation area, had their own training program, although a common basis exists. The participants in several preparatory meetings built the training program. For instance, in Portugal, each trainee presented his or her research question, that is, the question that he or she wanted to be answered at the end of the training, and the training sessions were created having in mind the research questions. In some cases, the answer to some question was in the sharing of other participants. And in the end, the trainees presented their answers and ideas. Second, the concept of training community is central in this training in action path that we propose. The training process we always have to keep, in the meantime, a double focus. From one side, to create a training community among the trainers who decide to participate in this process as trainees. In addition to the methodological indications, it is important to focus on the construction of the training itself. In fact, the trainees must be involved from the beginning in the design of the training, that is the co-designing, starting from the sharing of the training objectives and continuously involved in the following phases in the peer-to-peer learning environment. In addition, the evaluation phase of the training process is considered a training moment, and the self-evaluation moments are fundamental. From the other side, to involve other local actors that gradually meet through their action research in the process of training and transformation toward the sustainable and solidarity local development. In this way, we can truly transform, step by step, our communities into training communities for full citizenship for all, where each one takes responsibility for the common good and shares with others their skills in a peer-to-peer perspective. In addition, all participants are trainers and trainees at the same time. All of them had inputs and shared experience and knowledge. We learned from each other. Besides this, the care, a core notion in SSE emphasizing the reciprocal responsibility to provide each attention to fair participation, well-being, and safety feelings, is the ingredient at the center of the emerging learning community. The concept of care should guide the creation of the training community, and this means having some specific attention to logistical aspects, moments of celebration, and informal exchange, use of training methodologies that provide expressive language other than verbal, and enhance the use of the body. Third, the local training communities still exist, and in some cases, they are trying to cooperate economically, namely replicating other experience. For instance, in Portugal, we are trying to create a group of consumers in Porto. Giving you some context, during the Portuguese training in action course, the training community decided to continue to work together and try to strengthen the SSE in Porto. So we have monthly meetings. We are still trying to figure out what we want to do and how to proceed, but one of the activities that we want to develop is a local and self-organized group of consumers which contact and buys directly from the producers. So, as you may see, we started from learning practices and we finished on economic cooperation experiences. And to reinforce them, we have the third step. So now the partnership is creating action plans to advocate for the inclusion of SSE and IVET curricula and training of trainers at national and European level, as well as creating multimedia tools to reinforce and disseminate the work done so far. I will put now in the chat the link to the socio-eco.org page, where you can find our training materials and other project products. Okay, now you may see it. So now we can see the chat, Chiara, before Ariana. So I don't know if you saw the questions. The first one is about the models of the first project. The participants want to know if we made a tailor-made manual or used a compilation of other materials. And also if we have some separate model on credit unions or cooperatives.
Okay, yes. For each model and for each pilot training, one partner from social solidarity economy and one partner from training agency work together. So for each topic, worked together, these two souls, and we created all materials for this pilot training. And you can find all these materials in the link that Sophia shared in the chat in the socio-eco.org. And yes, and also regarding the other question about the cooperatives and credit unions. Yes, I think that in the second module about democratic management, there are different situation activities, because also we collected a lot of case studies from different countries to work for, yes, to work on this during the pilot training. So we deal with cooperatives, of course, and I think also credit unions in different modules.
Yeah, thank you, Chiara. And we have also another question more about the second project. So if we have some education or training element for young policymakers, for instance, so education or training on how to establish or improve public policies. I think that this was not our main goal in this project. We were more related to methodologies and how to deliver a training. But we have this third step. We are now in this third step, actually trying to create action plans, and these action plans we want to be very practical with concrete activities, and some of them are not typically only policy meetings, but also some training and some different kind of events. So we will try to address that. And also we want to continue this work. So we want to, after those two projects, have another one at least more devoted to advocacy. So for sure, this will be something that we will address. And to this participant, if you have something that you want to share on this part of advocacy, we are totally open to your suggestions. And now maybe we can move forward and pass the word to Arianna Cortelezzi. Arianna studied political and social science, and she's now studying pedagogy. Since 2016, she is tutoring the students of a vocational training school in Lombardia in Como, North Italy. And since 2017, she is collaborating with her school and Solidarios through the Erasmus Plus project, seeking ways for a transformative change. So the floor is yours, Arianna. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. I will share my screen because I have a presentation too. So one moment. I have, okay, should be this one. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the title of my speech was I have been there because mine is a testimony to be trainee and trainer in the two projects that Sophia and Chiara presented before. And I'm just I have just two questions while I'm speaking. If something is not clear, because in my English, just stop me, and even if I'm too long, because cut me down, just tell me, because I don't know how much time I will take. So here is a picture of me in Prague in 2017. So a lot of time ago, I was the trainee of the first project that Chiara presented. And here the group was actually mixed, as Chiara said. So there were people working in SSE realities, there were people working in initial VET, as me, and also there were VET students. So there were, the group was really mixed. Actually, the people that the project had in mind that were the students, and I was there actually just to test if the modules were right for example, the students of my school, for the right target. So I attended the first module. These are two pictures I took from Chiara's presentation of before. So she presented the 3 modules. I was in the first one, so the more general values and principles of SSE. And actually at that time, for me, it was really helpful, this module, because I didn't know so much about SSE. And for me, it was it made it more clear, and it was actually useful. And so I was thinking before how to give you a useful insight. So I was thinking about my perspective as a trainee in these modules and in this project. So I decided to take 3 defining moments that were really important for me. The first moment, I called it the hooking. That is a term that we use in university in Milan, in pedagogy. And the hooking part is actually before the training. And there was before the training a selection, and actually I was part of the selection too, of the participants. Like Solidarius spoke with my school, ENIVET, and they were looking for a person that was adapt to follow this project. So I was asked to think about it, and if I was the right person. So I was engaged from the very first moment. I met Solidarius, and I don't remember if in person, but I think yes. And then there was this part of preparation before the training. They sent me papers to read, just to prepare and get involved before. And I think this hooking part was really developed in the 2 projects, especially in the last one. So I think this is a very strengthening part, and for me it was really useful. Then there was the commitment, and that was the moment of the training itself. And as Chiara and Sofia presented before, like already in the first project, we experimented active training methodologies. There were debates and examples, and the feeling of being part of a training community that will not stop there. So there was this feeling to go farther in the future together, developing these topics and these projects. And I think for me it was really engaging, this feeling. And after the 3rd moment was after the training, and I called it the follow-up. They asked me to Solidarius and ENIVET, my school, asked me to write a report of the activities, and also I was also invited in Rome 2 times to talk about the results and to think together for the following projects. And so I think the very important ingredient is in these 3 moments is that I was never a passive trainee. They always asked me to be active and do something, and this was really functioning. So after this first project, I think it put some seeds that were good, really developed in the second project then. And the first one, the idea, as Sophia said also very well, of taking care of the training community, this idea of take care is very important. Then, from my point of view, started an informal dissemination of the project, because I talked with it at the workplace, or also with my friends about it, because the topic was really interesting. Also at the university, I was asked to, some professors asked me to understand better the project, so I'll talk about it there. And then the two main points that were developed in the second project that Sophia presented, the idea that there was a need of training the trainers before the trainee, that the models were maybe too much for the initial students, and so before the need of training trainers, and then the need of experimenting new training methodologies that was important mainly for the trainers before. So then I continued, and I continued as a trainee in the second project as Sophia presented, and I was present in all the phases of the project in Bergamo, in Como during the pilot training, and in Timișoara at the end. And the three things that I personally used more after this experience, I tried to put them here. So the action research methodologies, for example, the mapping, I didn't write it, but the cooperative project, and the idea of using resources that we already had and the community already had. And I think this is one of the treasures that I try to I always have present in my daily work with the students now. And this idea of the training as a research, that the trainers and the trainee can be switching levels all the time, and that the training itself is always a process of understanding better the reality, and that knowledge is made both by trainers and trainee together. And I also chose this picture that actually is very, very old, because it was one of my first classes when I started to work as a trainer. So just also to give you the idea that being a project so long, I had the opportunity to develop in parallel as a trainer in my daily work. And then the third thing is experience something different. I chose the picture of a workshop of bakery that we did during the pilot training in Como. but we also did many other things, like in Bergamo, like we visited, for example, some SSE realities, and so we engaged not only knowledge but also our bodies, and as Sophia also was saying before, and for me it was actually very important to remember. And yeah, and this is all. But I don't know if I was clear. If not, just ask me.
I think it was pretty good, Ariana, as usual. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ariana, for your sharing and all your commitment during this process.
How can I stop?
So at the top of your screen, maybe it's easy. Okay, yeah. So I was replying to some, quick questions in the chat, and now we will start the working groups. So this more interactive and participatory part. The first working group will be about education, okay, a first step towards social and economic transformation, and it will be moderated by Josette Combs from MESH. José is the co-president of MESH from France. She is a member of the Committee of Animation and Management of the University Network US, and she's in charge of communication in RIPES Europe. Le Mouvement pour l'économie solidaire was created in 1997, and its main goal is to develop economic citizenship, to encourage cooperation, and to work for economic development based on democracy, social justice, and ecology. The second working group will be about future of work and SSE, and moderated by Georgia Bekridaki from DOC. Georgia is a sociologist working as SSE consultant at DOC Cooperative and as a researcher in topics of civil society, social solidarity economy, collective action, among others. DOC is a supporting infrastructure for SSE actors in Athens, Greece. It promotes SSE through public events and seminars and supports the creation and development of SSE actors through coaching and mentoring methods. DOC is a member of RIPES Europe and works in order to SSE contribute together with other movements for a fair, sustainable, and participatory society and economy. So I will open the rooms, one about education and another about future of work. And now at the bottom of your screen, you may see the option about simultaneous rooms, breakout rooms, or whatever it is in your natural language. And basically you can choose which room you want to be in. So if you want to discuss education, or if you want to be more devoted to the future of work. So please feel free to join the rooms, and we will come back in a few minutes. So for those who are for those who are still here, you just need to go to simultaneous room, breakout rooms, or something related to that, at the bottom of your screen. I think it's the second or third option from the right, and then you click in join in or something like that in the room that you want to. Okay, if you are not able to do this, just let me know which room do you want and I will do this for you.
Me, I don't have the button.
Okay, but I know your room. That's the good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So if anyone else wants to share with me, I can do this for you.
The option, if it's possible to introduce me in the room too.
Two, okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Francesco, do you want me to put you? No? Okay.
Still working a bit.
Okay.
But thanks.
Okay. I know Laura will stay in the main room, but Maria, Teresa, Vanessa, Samuel, if you want me, just let me know which room do you want to do, and I will put you there.
A good solution for the people who stay here, it would be to put them in the waiting room temporarily, just not to have them here for half an hour. So if you're gonna share the video later, could be useful to stop the recording. But I don't know if you want to publish it on somewhere.
No, we will interrupt you. Yeah.